hello. What's going on, folks? How you guys doing? If you can
Hello.
hear us, you can see us. Give me a one in the chat. I don't see anything on my screen, so I'm not sure if we're actually on or not.
It says
So
live on my end. You could be
yeah.
a little bit
Oh,
louder
here we go.
for me.
Yeah, it
I
might have been a
don't know if
delay with
that's just
YouTube.
me, but
Yeah, I got some ones. Awesome.
okay. All right.
Awesome. All right, guys. We're gonna drop into the intro real quick. Hopefully everybody had an awesome week. We're gonna talk about some sister wife foolishness, and there was plenty to go around. So it's a plethora of
So
of
much to
material.
talk about.
Right. It's a target rich environment. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So so we'll get right into it right after we come back from the intro. Make sure you guys buckle up, get some popcorn, get yourself ready. Because when we come back, we are going.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you only believe me, don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you only believe in me, yeah.
Let's get it. Hey, let's get it. So we came upon the craziness, which is the Cody and Robin episode. What do you think about this particular episode? Before I get into it, how would you frame it? Like if you had call it a thing, what would you call it?
So someone pointed out, I don't know if it was one of the podcasts that I listened to. I follow so many content creators. There's so many great people that cover the show, but I forget who it was that was noticing that Ari looked not like 6 or 7 years old in that game night scene, and that likely that was filmed maybe more recently to like fill in for the episode. Maybe the episode needed something. So and I was like, oh my goodness. And then people are speculating that this outdoor scene, well, we all have opinions on it. I think it was totally performative. I don't think that this was filmed more recently, but we'll get to that. But overall, I do think that they've had, I personally, I think that they've edited out Garrison completely. And I think that they've had to fill some holes. So
Right.
I don't know. That's the vibe I get, because I noticed like we don't get Gabe at all. And we're going to get him next episode, but they were such a huge part of the last couple seasons. And like and I get, obviously I get why they did that.
Right.
But I just think that the game night scene, I think, was probably filmed probably in 2024 sometime, and to fill in some gaps. What do you think?
Well, I think for sure this was definitely the Robin Cody episode. Like I think that they were pushing the redraft of characters really hard in this.
And you know
You
what?
know,
I almost fell for it for a second. Robin, I've never empathized with Robin. I've never thought, Robin makes a good point. I don't know what to do with myself, James.
right? Yeah, this episode. Well, see, here's the thing, and I kind of talked about it during the post show yesterday, the after party, that I feel like when I was listening to her talk, and this is where it gets, I think some of the confusion comes in, because she was singing the right song, she was singing the words,
Yeah.
but she was way out of tune. Like it just wasn't right. It was like I called it karaoke yesterday. This is reality karaoke. Because
if you forgot or didn't know the entire backstory to this family, then Robin was saying everything right in last night's episode.
Right.
I found her very likable in last night's. If you watch just this episode, independent of literally everything else you know about Robin.
Well, and that's the thing, because here's something that I thought of, Dark James. It creeped into my mind. When I was listening to her talk, I've listened to your channel, Amanda's, like the other Amanda, back with Barbie, everybody like who talks about this particular subject matter. And it all have said at some point some variation, I've said it too, some variation of what she said yesterday or last night's episode. Like, we've all said these same things. Like, what kind of parent, thinks going abandon their children? What child don't need their parent? Everybody has said that. So it's
Yeah.
almost like she took a best of everybody's channel and just
Yes.
composed it into a soliloquy out there when she was or some kind of oration when she was talking to Cody. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel you on the I'm not really. I like what she said, and we'll get into the conversation because I got some things.
Oh yeah. There's so much to unpack there.
Right. I'm kind of. I'm trying to hold myself back.
Oh,
But
I know.
we got some super chats right up, so we're gonna hit these super chats, and then we're gonna get into the. We're gonna start going through it. First up, we got Jennifer Devine with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Jennifer. How can Robin yell at Cody about his kids when Robin went out of her way to keep her kids from their dad? How about that?
I thought too is because Robin this is the first time I remember Robin invoking her biological father. We've only ever heard about Paul, how amazing Paul was, stepdaddy Paul adopted Robin. So that was really like, there's nothing wrong with Cody adopting the kids because look, Robin was adopted, right?
Right.
Wonder if Robin's realizing, well, Cody is really a fair weather father. What? Uh-oh. Like,
right.
What did I do?
Right. Whoopsie doopsie.
Yeah.
And there's because again, we'll get into the unpacking of it because that is definitely one of the things I wanted to talk about with regard to the bio dad.
Yeah.
But when she invokes it, there is a part where, just as a personal pet peeve, like, I understand everybody has a past and people are impacted by their past, and what happened to you before can color your future, like how you see your future.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes a little disjointed for me or off-putting for me when you use your past as an excuse for your bad behavior or for things that you participate in. You know what I mean? Like, so it's the whole, when I was a child, this bad thing happened, blah, blah, blah. But this is supposed to make me feel like, okay, yeah, everything that you were a part of over the 19 seasons, I'm supposed to forget because when you were a kid, somebody did the wrong thing to you.
Yeah.
You should value the importance of a father being around for his kids. So if anything, I think that it's more on her, not less on her, to make sure Cody was more involved with his kids. So what do you think about that?
Well, I say it all the time in my videos that reasons are not justifications. Like we can know why someone does something, the cycle of abuse and what have you. But that again, that doesn't make it right. You are responsible for your own behavior. And
Right.
it's astounding to me. And I think that, like, I don't know if Robin has like the ick a little bit because just the inability for Cody, like, if they do this, I will show them love. How many times did he, like, they can earn their way back into like my favor if they do X, Y, and Z. There's nothing about what Cody can do to just grovel to his children, which is what he should do. And I find it really, like, now that I'm pretty convinced that they've edited out anything that was previously filmed with Garrison, I find it really gross, all the shit talking of his kids that he's doing for kids who aren't even appearing on the show in confessionals to give their side of the story. At least, like, in seasons past, like Cody saying X, Y, and Z about Gabe and Garrison, then we would have a confessional with Gabe and Garrison giving their side.
Right.
Right now, all we have is Maddie is in scenes with her mom. Hunter is like in the background at best. Logan's wedding was like used against his will. Like, we have all these kids that are like not really wanting to appear on the show, and they're not appearing in like couch confessionals. And Cody is really going hard at shit talking them. And I find that really gross.
Right. And I would even add to the fact that this is the perilous situation that I think Robin's ex found himself in, because by Cody and Robin appearing on the show, they have a platform. And when the other kids don't want to appear on that show, kind of what you're saying, hearkening to what you're saying, when the other kids don't appear on the show, they don't give their confessional, they don't have the opportunity to give their side, then the only side that we get to hear is from Robin and Cody. They get to shape the narrative about what happened, what didn't happen. They can leave parts out, which they've habitually done. They've had conversations where they left huge swaths of, vital information out. And then all of a sudden, I can imagine when Cody comes back, because somebody has said that a couple weeks ago, like, they felt bad for Robin to a degree because she only gets one side. So, like, for instance, when Cody went to Janelle's house, they had the big blowout argument. He didn't come home and say, yeah, this is what I said about the Christmas tree and about it being small and tiny. And then I started going at a neck about not having. He came in, I walked in, just had a cup of water, a mere cup of water. She flipped out on me. She started cussing me out, telling me to shut up and sit down. Like, I had to get out of there. So it's all going to be victimology. I'm such a victim. It's so terrible that this thing happened to me. And that's what I feel like we're going to get with just them giving their side of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah, but let me give a big thank you to Jennifer. Thanks for jumping in the box. We'll give you a little. Yes. And then we're gonna go to. We have another super chat. From Kikalika.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kikalika. Kiki. Robin started to say that this is affecting us and gestures towards her house, then quickly refrained her wanting Cody to fix his moves for all the kids and himself. Living him sucks, and I guess living with him sucks, and she's sick of it. Poor Cody sucks. I think that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if all Robin is getting now is Cody imagine having 18 kids and 75% of them have an issue. That's a lot of phone calls and text messages to be fielding daily about kids that have some beef with you.
Right.
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 Even if it is warranted, I mean, on the one hand, I kind of feel for the guy. Like, that's a big complaint department you got.
Right. It seems like that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Day,
so I get how, like, Robin's probably not having a great time.
Right. And here's the kind of the secret though. Like, if you have if you feel like you have a problem with the world, maybe it's not the world. It might be you. Just as an aside, Cody.
Yep.
Give you a little something, Kikalika. Then we have YouTube is my time machine. Jumps in there with $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do need the timing confirmed of when this argument was filmed. Apparently I can't read tonight, but seems like absolute damage control. Yeah, you know what? I do feel like that. I feel like they were trying to cover something up. Something happened, and they wanted to give some context to something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just was weird. It was a weird. I agree. It was a weird conversation and a weird argument. But there is a reason why they could have been having that argument. We'll get into it in a bit.
That's the ray gun.
Right. There's causing problems. YouTube is my time machine. You know what it is. Then we have Aaron Pearson with the $4.99 super chat. We see Cody claim that one of the kids accused him of manipulating him. Interesting to see Cody valuing Ari's loyalty. Sounds like more manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What
I mean,
did he say? He used the word like brainwashing was used. So I wonder who feels that way.
right. Yeah, sometimes people like their observation is a confession. So he's
Was it
observing.
Hunter that he said it was Hunter that no, he said Hunter meant him with contempt, but someone called him an asshole or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't say their name. So I'm wondering if it was Logan. So I don't know. I'm curious who it could have been. Like maybe it was Logan, or it could have been Gwen or Isabel. I mean, this is the thing. Like you can run through the whole rogues gallery of people who don't like him. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's hard to nail it down. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But let me give you a little something real quick. All right, and we have a couple more, and we're gonna be in it to win it. Oh, we got Brittany, not Brittany, $4.99 super chat. It's like Robin discovered 2 hours prior to that conversation that her dad abandoned her.
I really got the feel, and so, and I'm gonna talk about this in a video probably tomorrow, but all of the feelings Robin feels about her dad, even though she had this amazing stepdad, that person is not her biological father, and she has feelings about her biological father. And how could she do that to her 3 oldest kids? Because they had a relationship with that man.
Right.
No matter how toxic the marriage was, maybe he wasn't exactly the best dad around, but they were visiting him.
Yeah, and they were excited to see him. So it's
yeah.
And this is where it gets weird for me, because if you suffered through that and this is something you were going through and it was a problem you had, how do you impose that on your kids knowingly? You know what I mean? Because your father, and by her test, and this again is where it gets weird. And I'm very careful about how much deference we give to her and her interpretation, because it is only one-sided. But in her interpretation, her dad didn't want anything to do with her and the damage that it wrought on her life, her self-esteem, and how she viewed herself. In this particular case, this man did want to have involvement with his kids. Her kids' biological father wanted to have it. In fact, he resisted her when she tried to take his rights away. And she still went ahead and took his rights away.
She worried that her kids would choose to live with him.
Right.
Kids aren't going to choose to live with someone that treats them like shit, right? Like,
or somebody they absolutely do not know, because she tried to say that he was never around and never came
like
around.
You don't see Truly asking if she can go live at Dad and Robin's.
Right. And if that's the case, stop making them a mystery. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let them know what it is. So it's just such a ridiculous thing. Yeah. Like it's such a ridiculous prospect. Well, give Brittany, not Brittany, a little something.
Brittany, not Brittany.
Right. Oh wow. Then we got a few more. What's this? Jennifer Devine, $9.99 super chat.
$9.99. Are you out of your mind?
right. Well, you guys are right. Robin did do that to her kids. What her mom did exactly what her mom did to her. Yeah, and that's the
thing. What was interesting too? Robin was talking about how her dad lived in a different state or whatever. But I thought that was her stepdad too. Like she was living in Utah, and I had come to find out that we're only talking about the difference of a couple hours. But like when her mom was with her stepdad, they were in different states too.
Right. At least different cities. At
Yeah, no,
least different cities.
I think her dad was, because her dad is like a government employee, some like kind of city official in Vegas. Well, he
Right. Right.
RIP. But and they were living in Utah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I think the drive was like a couple hours, but still, I mean, it's a couple hours.
Right. Right. And I think that that's an important thing to recognize as well, because even when early on when the Browns would describe how great Cody was as a father, I think that a lot of that description has to be tempered with the reality that all of it is relative.
Mhm.
So it's what you see. Like if you have a dad who, polygamous father, he comes by, he knocks the women up, and then he disappears to go off and try to find other wives, and they consider that a bad parent. If you have a guy who merely comes by and does basic things, he knows his kids' names and he may remember a couple of their birthdays. He's a great father. He's amazing. He's so involved. Like he's not involved. But in your world, he might seem like he's involved. So I think it's all
Mhm.
relative. So
Yeah.
when she talks about even her stepdad, now I'm not trying to besmirch him or, crap on his memory, but that could also be the thing too. Cause like you said, he lived in a different state. Like how involved could he really be if he lives in a different state?
We've always talked about Robin's mom because Robin always talks about how her mom kept that honeymoon spirit alive in her marriage with her dad. And it was like, well, your mom was essentially a mistress. Like,
Right.
like, so that's kind of been the like consensus amongst the Sister Wives community is that, and that's Robin has seemed to like purposefully made herself Cody's mistress
Right.
because
Right.
she never integrated herself into the family. She always separated herself.
Right. Right. And it's easy to maintain, like as you said, just to highlight it, it's easy to maintain the honeymoon experience when you only see him once a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not hard. That's vacation. That's vacation good times. I'll leave it there. We'll give you a little something. All right. And then we had a few come in. Okay. Okay, here we go. Then we have Stacy Stitches, 499 super chat. That convo with Robin and Cody was so obviously staged and rehearsed to make Cody look like he cares and like Robin is not the bad guy we know she is. Oh,
Well, first of all, how cluttered is your house that you would rather have that conversation outside?
right. You come walking, trudging through snow.
Oh my God. I'm not having like and plus, and it made no sense too, because Cody had just told us that their kids were at school. So nobody was home.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you, like I said this yesterday. I'm gonna just jump it a little bit,
Mm.
but I'm gonna say it like this: if you, and this is from my perspective, if I get in the kind of argument where I'm like, all right, woman, I gotta take a ride because I'm so heated and I'm so angry, and we had that kind of blow up, I jump in my car and I drive off in the middle of a snowstorm, drive off, and I'm gone for an hour, 2 hours. If I come back and my wife is outside, I pull up and she come outside to see me, that means typically the locks have been changed on the house. You don't live there no more. That's what that means. Like, if she coming outside,
him, I was like, how long was he gone for? It
right,
sounded like he was gone for like a day or something. Like if he was just gone for a couple hours, I don't know. She was like, oh, it's like good to see you or something. It's like, well, where's he been?
right.
I thought he just went for a drive.
Yeah, where you go? But this guy, he apparently took a little while. He took a little time because he had to cool down. And then you come back, and then nobody, and this is why I say it's stage 2, because nobody has that kind of heated argument where you have to take a ride and you come back and be like, okay, let's talk because I feel like some things have happened and I really want to get this on my. That's not the conversation. You're going to come back. Typically, you'll come back, and if she's still standing, like you get in an argument in the kitchen, if she's still standing in the kitchen, bro, you getting cussed out. Like you are for a rough ride. Like she's
Yeah.
still washing that same dish.
Yeah.
Like your ass is in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, baby, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Somebody need to apologize by the end of that conversation. That's an apology conversation. Well, let me give you a little something, something. All right. And then we have some super chats. Then we have Kika Lika coming back with a $20 super chat, dropping bombs. They're hearing all these things. They think I made the COVID rules. Robin really thinks she set the record straight with this. No issues before COVID, even though nobody ever liked her and her kids. Make it make sense, y'all. I can't.
Yeah.
Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. They had every reason in the world why everybody was mad other than themselves.
Yep.
Like so I think that was like a consistent theme. All right. Then we have We have Shannon with the $1.99 super chat. Nobody believes it was a real argument, right? Nope.
Well, and here's my thing. Like, there were parts of it where do I feel like they had probably like a heated exchange? Yeah. But I feel like, like who comes home to hash out an argument? I was like, are you ready to talk? Usually it's like you putter around the house giving the silent treatment until eventually you like talk,
Right.
That's typically how arguments get hashed out. I don't know anybody that's like, okay, I'm here for our 2:00 hashing out of our argument.
Right.
Producers, roll the camera.
Right. You were rather heated when you left earlier.
Yeah.
Like nobody has that. Like mother,
Yeah.
and nobody's cussing. Like, I don't know. And we know they're cussers. Like they speak the French. So yeah, somebody would have been cussing. But yeah,
Yep.
we'll get into it because I'm raring to go. But let me get I'm sorry, I got one more thing. Then we have one more, and then we'll go right into it. Okay, I'm jamming to myself. Oh, okay, wow, we got a few. All right,
Maybe let's do this. We'll talk about the show and then we'll come back. Yeah.
right, yeah, we'll do that. Stream Frog 99 $10 super chat. Cody's bafflement that kids don't like it when you crap all over their moms is astonishing. They didn't pick me just because I abandoned 2 to 3 of your mothers. Isabel's surgery was the nail in the coffin.
I mean, I guess growth is that Cody does acknowledge 2 things he wish he did differently with the COVID pandemic. One was Isabel's surgery, and the other was trying to kick Gabe and Garrison out of the house. So he recognizes that those were like not his best moments. So
yeah. But even that, I think, is based on the fact that those are some of the things that people keep dinging them with.
of course.
In video. So you kind of call up the thing that you were most offended by, not necessarily the thing that you've done.
Right.
The thing that they keep banging you with. But let me hit this last one, and then we'll get into it real quick. All right, so we open up the episode, and we'll get to the other super chats in a
Yeah, for sure.
But we open up the episode, and they the first thing they talk about is a continuation of McKelty having the babies and how she's dealing with the post delivery of the children.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about Robin, and they sing Robin's praises heavily during the course of this these couple of scenes. What did you think about the presentation, or at least the way they presented themselves to Robin, the way they talked to her, the way they received her, the way they complimented her? What did you think about how that whole scene was set up?
I thought it was I'm glad it went well because I do hope that there are more forced interactions in the future because that is good content for the show. Seeing like Robin and Christine have to interact, I was like, I'm here for that. And I think that all of these women have the potential to get along if you take Cody out of the equation. Cody is the common denominator. That is the problem in all of these relationships. They could be friendly, maybe not friends, but friendly, sans Cody.
Right. I would say that my first image of it, like how they talked to her, how they dealt with her, how they regarded her, with all the compliments, it was a little cringy for me. Like, because it just seemed like it was like everybody, oh, Robin is so great. She's so wonderful. She's so awesome. She's Superwoman. She slept in a closet on a blanket. And then all of a sudden she comes out, she passes the babies to her. And then she gets the babies back. She takes them back into the closet like a little hobbit. It was amazing. And then she predicts the future by saying that child has to poop. Like, yeah, that's what kids do. When they
right. At that age, it's poop, burp, or sleep or eat.
Yeah,
like there's only like for those four.
Right, they got 4 gears. Like, and cry. They're 5. They cry. They poop, they eat, they pee. You know what I mean? And they sleep. That's pretty much what you got going on. It's not a whole lot of activity. So, I just felt weird with the way they did it. And even when Christine came in, they had Christine doing it.
Yeah, so, it was a tad extra, but honestly, like probably if I had 2 newborns, I'm probably going to sing the praises of anybody who came over to allow me to take a nap. I'd probably be like, oh my God, you're the best part ever. Oh my God, you made my baby poop. Oh my God. Like,
right. Please come back.
Whisperer.
Please come back. That's all that is. Please come back. Don't let this be the last visit.
And
but I mean,
you know what? I thought it was very nice to see that, like, yeah, Christine and Robin don't necessarily like each other, but they are capable of putting their differences aside. Cody is not capable of that, which is why we saw him talking about. I think that fight scene was shot sometime either December 2022 or January 2023 because they still had the wedding fresh on their mind, and that was October 2022. So I think that all of this Madison scurrying the kids away from him, I think that was still fresh on Cody's mind. I think that if this had been any further down the road, I don't think stuff like that would have come to mind for him. So
right. Not all.
That's when I think it probably was filmed.
Right. Well, because the only thing I would say about the thing with everybody kind of kissing up to Robin is that I remember McKelty and Tony saying that in order for them to maintain a relationship with Robin and Cody, they had to always be there. They had to be Johnny on the spot with them.
Oh, McKelty had said that it requires them to put in like 3 times as much effort.
Right.
She recognizes that is what it is. It's really interesting to see the different approaches that Madison and McKelty have taken to facilitating a relationship between their kids and Cody.
Right. Well, the importance to them,
Yeah, and it's McKelty seems to be like I will make however this whatever kind of relationship they have, it's better to have that than not have it. And McKelty is like, no, it's actually better to like not even know that Cody exists to my kids. That's the stance and I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. I just find it really interesting that 2 sisters are really close in age, how vastly differently they view a relationship with Cody.
Right. Well, it could also be the difference of presence.
Yeah, like actually there's a difference between being like absentee and like just not being that great of a grandfather or father Madison almost takes it a step further. Like, this is toxic. This is not healthy. I don't want you. I actively don't want you around my kids. That's what you do when you have like I don't know, like an active addict in your life, or
Right.
like a criminal or something. Like, you're trying to keep a nefarious element away from like your vulnerable children. That is how Madison is treating Cody.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, but in fairness to Madison, you have somebody who appears to be somewhat unstable. So if they
Yeah.
have conversations and they can't let go of certain situations, and they habitually bring those situations into other relationships. For instance, he doesn't get along with Janelle. He's arguing with Janelle. So he wants to go and talk to Madison about how evil and wrong Janelle is. And a lot of that is even in the discussion he's having with Robin, how he talks about the problems that are occurring between him, his kids, and even his ex-wives, but none of it has to do with him. It's always somebody else's problem, always somebody else's fault. Somebody is doing something else, or I'm vanguarding or protecting somebody else from somebody else. That's why I have a problem with them.
Yeah.
And Maddie might be looking at it like, I don't know if I want this person around my kids because, one, he's not making an effort to be around them. Two, I'm not chasing him around like McKelty is doing because, I mean, I understand that. Like, I'm one of those people too. Like, if you don't want me around, I won't come around. I'm not going to chase anybody and beg people to spend time with me. If you don't want to spend time with me, it is what it is. But, McKelty might, because they grew up differently. And that's what I meant. Like, the presence of when he was around when they were kids. Christine, McKelty's mom, he came over to the house. He spent time with Christine because I think at some point he did enjoy spending time with Christine. But Janelle had all the boys.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
And so he was constantly over at Janelle's house. So Maddie would have had a different relationship with him because she would have been present in a place where he was.
Mm-hmm.
So she might have, she infused with that presence of dad, that the confidence of it. She might have looked at him when he started acting up and say, you know what, I'm done. Whereas McKelty never really had that relationship with Cody, so she always longed for that relationship, so she seeks it out more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, that whole thing was just a little odd. But then after we have the whole conversation with Robin being in the house, and even I think you made a video on this, how relaxed Robin looked and refreshed after she had this time. Now imagine you're there with twins, newborn twins, and she's coming out like she just came from the spa. So you had a video talking about her looking refreshed. I'll give you the floor to talk about that.
Oh yeah, it was noticeable to me. She seemed like she had like you said, like she had just gone to the spa. Meanwhile, she's sleeping in a closet with newborn twins. Like, she has had anything but an easy 2 weeks. But I guess it's like that is preferable. The amount how many times have I seen people call Cody like an energy vampire, right? Like, he's just sucking the life force out of you. And it's like, I saw bits of like season 1 Robin in this episode. Like, in the car, her eyes were so blue.
Right.
And someone said maybe they're colored contacts. I don't know. But like, I noticed, like, I was struck by them, just how blue they were. And to just compare that to like her couch interviews where she looks so sad. It's noticeable.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, she looked happy. She looked refreshed. I mean, I guess the time away from Cody did her some good. So from that respect, but I did find it interesting, and somebody mentioned it actually on one of my after parties, that it's weird to me that when Cody was asked to go away and spend time away with his daughter, who was getting a major surgery, which is where Isabel gets tied in, he couldn't be away from the house because Saul and Ari would miss him too much, and he has to be there to tuck him in. But apparently, it's okay for Robin to be out for 2 weeks and away from Solinari and not tucking them in. So is it just Cody has to be there? Is Cody the only one doing it? Or is this like a Robin thing? Or it wasn't just an excuse? And this is where we kind of get into the reasons are not excuses,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, so after they had that, that's when they had the whole discussion outside, which is pretty much takes over the entire rest of the episode.
Yeah.
All right, like because after they started that conversation, they had a little bit. Well, I guess we could talk about Christine meeting David. That was kind of anticlimactic because we went through the whole
I know, because
wedding
because
episode.
we don't actually meet David.
Right.
She's just talking about David, and it's like, okay, well, we've already seen your wedding. This is like not exciting,
Right.
you know.
I know how this ends.
Right? That's
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I met this really cool guy. It's our first date. We're even talking about going on our second date. Like you're almost been married a year by now. Like, what are you talking about? So
Actually, I think yesterday was their anniversary, their 1-year anniversary.
so we're so far behind. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to warp speed this episode because this is
Yeah.
getting kind of crazy. And then being able to put stuff together. And this is one of the dangers. I think that just kind of an aside, this is one of the dangers with them being so far behind. Because I understand that if you're that far behind, you have a lot of leeway. You could play around with a lot of material because you have a shit ton of material that you could play around with. You can create storylines based off because you know where it's going to go. But when you have big life-changing events, deaths in the family, marriages, weddings, that kind of thing, then all of a sudden we're trying to piece together when this happened. And so even the conversation that happened outside, it came up. Is this something that happened after Big G's passed away? I don't necessarily think it did. Because I think he would have really nailed that. Like, I've been trying to talk, and he would have hollered his name out because Cody has no I don't think he has any breaks. But I think that's where it starts to struggle a little bit because you can make certain implications based on the fact that we know so much of what is going to happen. The fact they're out there having this conversation in the snow, we can start to make the assertion that maybe they're having this conversation trying to cover for them because we know what's going to happen later.
Yep.
And maybe that's why they rolled it out. They might have filmed it early, but part of the reason why they wanted to splice it in was because they had to start trying to do something to make these two characters more likable.
You know, Robin really nearly achieved likability for me in this episode. I just, I if I think for a second, my sympathy for her all goes away. But I thought it was real cool of her. I mean, I don't think Robin's dangerous to be around kids, so I really don't care if you are my mother's worst enemy. If you're gonna give me a spell so I can go take a nap and you're gonna watch my kids, I'll take it.
Right. And it is what it is. Like it's about at that point, like especially when kids are young, it's about survival. So, like you
It
just
really
trying to
is.
survive.
At that point, it's my husband and I, like with our kids when they're this young, it's like our markers on their birthday is like, yes, another year we've kept you alive. Go
right,
us.
right. We are succeeding. We're winning. But I mean, it's because it's one of those weird places that, especially for young parents, I've always said that everybody wants to babysit, but nobody wants to watch your kids.
Well,
So,
babies are nice when you can give them back.
Right.
They really are.
Especially when all you have to do, like you're babysitting them, all you got to do is sit them down, and wherever you put them, they stay.
Yeah.
Wherever you lay,
there's
they stay.
an expiration date where mom and dad are going to come home, and that'll all be a dream. It was all
right. You can hat up, and baby might cry a little bit. You can boop it around. It's awesome. But when they start running, walking, talking, more to the point, running away and talking back, then all of a sudden it's not as much fun to watch them.
It's not as cute.
Right. Then the struggle is real. You
Yeah.
want to watch my child so we can hello,
Yeah. Like the newborn stage is hard. I like That's a fact. But toddlerhood is like,
Right.
that's on some bullshit.
Yeah, it's a different level. It's a different level. I think newborn is really hard when you're new. When you're new to newborns,
and it's hard because you're just so tired and like, and especially for women, it's like like so much hormones and
Right.
especially with the dads too. It's like you're going back to work and it's chaos. But the fact is like that baby sleeps like 15 hours a day.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yeah, the hardest part of that is just getting them accustomed to the time.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh
So
my gosh,
sleeping
I
at night.
remember when my daughter was a baby, I did this like electronic like online sleep training course. I never actually like implemented it with her, but I apparently some babies can get their like internal clock, their circadian rhythm or whatever it's called, like messed up. And they think like daytime is night and night is day. And it's like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, if this is my kid, I'm gonna like lose my mind.
You're walking around at night and whatever. But there is one thing that before we leave that subject, there's one thing that Robin did say that kind of made me go, uh-oh. When she said, I got them both to take pacifiers. I was like, what is it with you and these damn pacifiers, woman?
I thought that was so funny because, so first of all, I was shocked. I thought that I felt like I got booted out of the hospital with my second C-section, and I was there for 2 nights. McKelty had I mean, I guess you're only cut once, but I mean, I don't know. But McKelty has twins, and they only keep her for 1 night. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I could barely make it to the bathroom like 24 hours after. So my heart really like goes out to McKelty because that is rough. But yeah, like I'm like reading some of the comments. Oh, with the binkies in the hospital, that's like your last resort. They don't just offer you a binky. That are you breastfeeding? Are you bottle feeding? Like, what are you doing? Do they need a diaper? Do they like that? Really is like the point of last resort is to give a pacifier. I did notice like Robin seemed real proud of herself for getting them to take pacifier.
Yeah, but isn't Ariel still walking? She was walking around with a binky at like 6, 7 years old.
You know what? And so both of my kids, my daughter liked pacifiers for like, I got a new like stand for my new setup and it like is slowly lowering. So I have to like adjust it every few minutes. So I apologize. But my kids both like rejected my son almost immediately, but my daughter like maybe like 6 months she used a pacifier and then she just stopped using it. I heard getting kids to give up a pacifier is like real difficult.
Right.
So it can be like traumatic. But eventually it's gonna start messing with like their dental health. So it's like really not good. I consider myself very lucky. I've just never had to deal with that. But yeah, it can be a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things though, in fairness, and maybe this is just me being like the jerky dude, but it's one of those things where at some point you got to kind of be a parent because they might not like it, they might not enjoy it. I really kind of didn't give my kids pacifiers at all, just because I understood that it'd be hard to get them off of it once they started it. And you could also develop other oral fixations, like they go from the pacifier to the thumb, and then that becomes a whole nother, because now they got the damn pacifier with them. So
right, exactly. And then it's like, then what do I do? I'm not gonna cut off their thumb.
Right. You gotta dip their fingers in like vinegar and
like
crap like that.
Case bat or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I never really did that. But one of the things is that when it starts to impact their dental health and things like that, their palates, you have to kind of say, okay, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. It's almost like,
that Saul had that major dental surgery
Right.
we know that like they had, well, at least Saul did. At least Saul had like dental issues.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
and Saul was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or something when he had to, I think he had to have like all of his teeth pulled or something.
Yeah. Well, that was when the people came down.
Yeah.
Because they had mentioned, like, oh, I noticed that Cody spent a lot of time with Saul. Oh, that's because he had surgery.
Right, exactly. That was her excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
He had surgery. Yeah, okay. We were here last week too, the week right before he was scheduled for surgery, and Cody didn't leave. So, but it's the weird thing too. It's almost like the because I was watching something what is that movie? That show Unexpected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a one young lady, her son is probably, I think he's almost like 4 or 5. And he's 4 or 5, and he's still getting breastfed. And I think her daughter is also getting breastfed.
Oh,
and,
is that Lily?
Yeah.
Lily? Yeah,
Lily and Lawrence.
Well, I don't think her son's 4, but he is like 2. He is walking around and talking.
He asked for the breast.
Yeah, he is.
And I think her daughter is also wasn't she breastfeeding too? I know she was still sleeping with him.
I don't know. I myself, I didn't breastfeed either one of my kids, but everybody, and you start getting into like breastfeeding philosophy, you will hear opinions. So right. I personally, I'm of the fed is best. Like however you keep your child alive, you keep that child alive. Good for you. You go, girl.
Right. The only thing I'll say about it, my wife did it for both my kids. And when they start getting teeth, that's when it's over.
That's like, that would be what I would assume. Right. Like, and like most of the people that I know, like about a year-ish, and then they like wean off. But some people go like 2 years. But I mean, it'll always remind me of Game of Thrones when I see like an 8-year-old breastfeed. It's like, oh.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But so we go through the whole thing with Christine talking about David. Oh, I'm so excited. I met this wonderful guy. His eyes are so blue, and I told him so. It kind of comes off in a way like Christine is more innocent. I'll say it that way. Mm-hmm. With her description of and her excitement of meeting this wonderful man, David. But it kind of tails into the argument between Cody and Robin. Before we get into it, we'll do a little teaser. Let's go through a couple of the super chats because we have quite a few.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we
thank you guys. So supportive.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Thank you. Let me make sure I got the right ones. Oh, here we go. So next up we have Michelle Lee, 1973B, $5 super chat. I kind of wonder if the facts that her father never chose her fuel the desire to be the chosen wife by Cody. Wow. Okay. Getting a little deep with it.
I think that absolutely plays into it. Also, the fact that her mom really conditioned, and like there's other like ex-polygamy content creators that I follow where the culture of competition between sister wives is pervasive. Like that is a legit, that's not unique to the Brown family. So you're like, if you grow up in polygamy and your mom is a sister wife, you likely will bear witness to your mom being strategic in her everyday. Like, how does she play it around the dad? How does she play it around the other wives? It's a game. Right.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too because the time allotment that each child would receive is so limited. And it's a valuable, precious resource that everybody is vying for. Mm-hmm. So as they're doing that mining, it must feel special to realize that you are the one that this man is choosing, especially over the other people who had already been established. So you're kind of the young buck rookie coming in, taking the league over. And I think that's how Robin feels.
Yep.
Maybe not so young buck anymore, but she definitely feels like she's the new one and the favorite.
Yeah.
Because Cody keeps telling her that. So there's that. But then we have Lizzie B. Lizzie B in the house with the $10 super chat. Robin pushed Jessup out of the way because he was the pin in her deluded balloon, and she wanted to be pleased. She wanted to please Cody. He did the same thing to Christine. What if your next boyfriend comes here and yeah.
Like he just naturally assumed that nobody would fall in love with Christine for Christine. It would be a grifter, someone looking for Cody's money. Like he blatantly said that. I'm like, oh my God, the audacity.
Well, imagine how creepy, because if you really break it down to bare bones, I'll take it a step further. Imagine how creepy it is that your ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife looks at you and says, look, the person that you're dating isn't dating you for you. They're dating you to get to me.
Yeah.
Because essentially that's what he's saying. He's like, anybody who dates you is really trying to get to me. So they're going to you to get to me. Like you're that important. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
Settle down, Johnny Appleseed.
Right. Settle down, Johnny Appleseed. I got to put that on the loop. But yeah, and that's the craziest thing ever. And it's just a thing too where Robin pushing her child's father out of the life, one of the points that Lizzie B made, to make somebody else happy. You know, that in itself, like I've always told my kids, like never be with somebody who you have to dumb yourself down to be around to make them feel more special. But most certainly don't be around somebody or pair yourself with somebody whom you have to cut people out of your life in order for them to feel like they're more special in your life. Like if you can't hold your own, then you might not have the capacity or the bandwidth to be in this situation. You just don't fit in, you know.
Yep.
So craziness. But let me give her a little something. Thank you, Lizzie B. The moderator, Lizzie B in the house.
I love the astronaut.
Yeah. Doing what they call it, the WAP or wash a little laundry, depending on where you're standing.
Oh.
We'll do 2 more. KM Gilbertson, $20 super chat. Hello. Cody, the kids are brats and lying that I said I never loved their mothers. TLC delivered the guy. The TLC delivery guy. Yeah. I got 100 crates of I never loved them footage for Cody Brown. Can I get a signature? Yeah, right.
And that's the other part of it. Like the other part that makes me cringe is okay. So like, I think a lot of us maybe like hoped that these kids just like don't watch the show. Like that would be like the best case scenario.
Right.
But we know that that's not true. We know obviously McKelty watches the show. Gwen at one point was watching the show. And then we know that like Michelle and Logan saw all of that BS about their wedding because Michelle was responding to people's TikToks about it. To know that your kids are going to see you talk about like the most special day in their life as like this, I didn't want to be there. I don't want to talk to them. Blah, blah. Like, and that's forever on TV. Like, does Cody not think about, wow, like this, I'm putting out a TV show, but this is also like my real life.
Right.
Because like, and McKelty has reminded us, because sometimes it's hard, and McKelty takes a lot of flack for taking up for Robin and taking up for her dad. And something that I will never get on McKelty about is the fact that she, like, these are her real family members. Like, I don't know Cody. I don't have to know Cody. I don't have to deal with like, oh, he's my deadbeat father. But McKelty does, you know?
Well, I mean, I think that's also part of the power in being a outside observer, is that I have the autonomy and the freedom to give my honest opinion without regard to relationship impact. Whereas anybody who is involved with these folks, they do have to worry about relationship fallout. So if
Mhm.
McKelty came out and said the things that either one of us say on a daily on any of our videos, that could burn that relationship to the ground. So, and that would have, so how many family reunions would you be going to? How many things would you be excluded from because Cody and Robin are going to be there, and you're the child that came out and said something wild on TV or wild on YouTube?
I mean, Cody
You
in
know,
last season's tell all took offense to the fact that McKelty was talking about dating with Christine. McKelty was not saying anything negative about Cody. They were talking about trying ice cream flavors.
yeah.
Like, just
Well,
talking about Christine getting laid. Like,
yeah. Well,
and
because she was
somehow Cody took that as a betrayal.
right. Well, actually, he took as a betrayal was the fact that Christina said that your dad never thought I was attractive, or he said he was never
Oh, yeah,
attracted to
something
me.
like that. Yeah.
And McKelty said, "No, mom, you're pretty. You're beautiful." And
Yeah.
that's when he got, oh, that's disloyal.
Yeah.
How dare you tell this woman that she's
McKelty was
even attractive?
talking shit. And it's like,
All right. Like, what?
no, she wasn't.
But that's her mom. She's supposed to tell him, encourage her mom. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Let me give Cam Gilbertson a little
Thank you,
something.
Cam.
Thank you so much. Give you a little something. All right, we'll do one more, and then we'll go back into the the snowy scene of Cody and Robin's disagreement, the days of their discord. Tracy Pinelli, $5 super chat. Did you see that Cody said he regretted not going to Isabel's surgery? Yeah, he felt bad about it after he's been reamed for years.
I was going to say, is he genuinely regretting that decision, or is he wishing he didn't get the backlash?
Right.
So, like, I would have rather gone and not have dealt with the fallout. But, like, I don't really think he actually wishes he was there for his daughter.
Right. Well,
And
he wish he didn't film it. There, how about that?
hard to appreciate, like, how gnarly that now, granted, Isabel had a different type of surgery than my best friend had. That spinal fusion surgery when we were like 15.
Mm-hmm.
It is no joke. That is so gnarly, especially for like a young person to have to go through. And you need like all the help, all the support you can get.
Right.
And it's I remember like I had just gotten my learner's permit, like, and we were like I was driving with my mom over to visit my friend in the hospital. I had never visited a friend in the hospital before. It's scary. And
Right.
like I so thankful that she had like all of her family around her, but she didn't have her dad. And
Right.
and this is like Cody not going, like potentially not going to Logan's wedding. You can never unring that bell. You can never go back and go and be there for Isabel's surgery. But I will never believe that he truly wishes he was there to support her. I think he regrets coming off looking bad.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll even say this. Even if you regret not going, the damage is still done. This is like saying, like doing something and then saying you're sorry that you did it. You might genuinely be sorry, but at the end of the day, it doesn't take any of the pain that you caused away. It provides a little bit of a solve to the irritant of what you did, but it doesn't relieve the problem. You don't have a time machine. You can't go back and change things. So what you can do is you can look at the situation now and try to make up for it. And moving forward, you change your perspective, your opinion, and your attitude towards them and try to improve from there. But that also requires you to go and acknowledge what you did and acknowledge why you did it and why you were wrong. And until you do that, sorry about that. That doesn't cover it. Wish it didn't happen. That doesn't cover it. Wish things were different. Yeah, me too. I wish things were different also. You're not the only one who wish things were different, but they aren't. And it doesn't matter how much we wish they were different, they're still going to be the same. So, I don't know. So I give them some grace, but at the same time, I give with one hand and I take with the other. So, but give
one of my favorite sayings ever is that God doesn't give with both hands, because that is so true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like you can sing your ass off, but you're hard to look at. Or you sing good, but you got to stutter. Like I've seen that.
Yeah.
I know a kid that could stutter. Like he would stutter. In fact, when he would get in arguments with people, he would sing it. Like you play the dozens, like you insult each other. He would sing his insults because he was phenomenal. As he just stuttered back.
What's it called? Like the King's Speech with it's about, I don't know which king or whatever, but he had a stutter, and how he would sing to like overcome. I think for some reason with our brain, like the musicality like connects the
words easier,
the words more. Yeah.
Right.
It's fascinating. I love that movie.
You got just get him pissed. He'll talk good. A little something for Tracy. All right. So as we get into the let's get to the meat and potatoes of the argument out front. When they were arguing out front, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was it seemed like, especially coming from the wedding perspective of being close to the wedding, that a lot of the driver for this big argument, at least for me, seems like it was rooted not necessarily in missing the big family, not being a part of the kids, not having a conversation with the kids, not being attached to the kids. But again, it kind of goes back to the video I put out last week that I think Cody and Robin missed the big event of being the center of attention, or being a part of a big group. Because walking into wedding ceremonies with 23 to 25 people, you taking a party over. Like that's a big crew. Like, so I think that they missed that part of it, because when they're not doing the parties, they don't seem like they're really interested in being around.
And someone made a really good point. I forget where I saw this, but it's like at weddings, you can absolutely not interact with someone. Like you can, like it, usually the bride and groom are going around mingling, but like every wedding I've ever gone to, do I even know everyone? No. Do I talk to everyone? No. So, and it's easy to get lost in a crowd at a wedding.
Right.
Even a small wedding.
Right. And it's one of those, you don't have to talk to people. You don't, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Okay, I see you over there. All right.
I mean, it is awkward that you're the father of the groom and you didn't like even let people know you were coming till last minute, and you have bad relationships with 90% of your family, but like talk to like Michelle's great aunt on her dad's side. Like go be a fly on the wall somewhere else. Like you don't have to make it so uncomfortable, but Cody knows if he's not going to be the center of attention for being, oh, it's Cody, we're so happy Cody's here, then he'll be the center of attention because it's like, oh God, Cody's here. Either way, he'll be the center of attention.
Right. With him showing up late, him showing maybe he's coming, maybe he won't, maybe him making a surprise entrance. That'll cause people to be stirred. But something actually stuck to me with the way that he approaches the whole issue of, because he said several times during this conversation, I never loved their mothers. That's why they're mad at me, because I never loved these women. I never loved them. I never loved them. He kept repeating that on a mantra. And it's weird to me that he would say this thing that he typically would say to these women to try to hurt them. And now he's trying to use that same tool against their kids. You know what I mean? Like, so
Mhm.
with the moms, he would say, I don't know if I ever loved you. I never loved you. And that would hurt him. So now he's trying to use that same tool against, against his kids. Yeah, I never loved your mom. Okay, well, F you then too, Dad. Like, it doesn't land the same. And I think he's
Mhm.
having complications and problems with that too. So what are your thoughts about, as far as like Cody and his approach to him not taking blame for like any of the situations that he finds himself in? What did I do wrong? I mean, I didn't love their mom. And is that my fault? Which
Again,
one I
things
love?
you don't need to say 100 times on
Right,
this TV show.
right.
If
There.
you want to have like a relationship with your kids, like I feel like we are more concerned about this family's real life relationships with each other than Cody is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Cody is only concerned about providing content at this point. And it's like, then at what point is that goes back to this conversation. At what point does the authenticity just get sucked out of the show?
Right.
If you're
Right.
only performing for us, then you're not really a real person.
Right. Right. And part of the problem with that, especially if you're not a creative, is that people who have experience in writing plays and movies, TV shows, real experience doing it, it's a skill level for you to take a situation and make it lifelike. Part of the problem that Cody and Robin have, even like, because I felt that a lot of the conversation they were having was staged, but part of the reason why it came off so staged to me is because even though they were having a discussion, and you can give me your thoughts on this, even though they were having this argument, it didn't feel like an argument because there wasn't any real there weren't any stakes involved with the argument. Like, so, they this is part of the reason why I think it was the politest argument ever. They weren't saying, like, nobody accused anybody of doing anything wrong. Nobody. They talked about things that I need, things that I want, things that I desire. But at no point did Robin say, Cody, you're an asshole because you didn't do this. You're not spending time with your kids. You're not making an effort to really be with them. She only said, I just wish you would try to put more effort forward. What does that mean? So what do you think about like the idea of the stakes between the relationships, or at least the stakes in the argument, and or their approach to not really, like, I don't feel like they were really talking about anything. Like, they were talking a lot, but they weren't really talking about anything. They certainly weren't addressing any real issues or problems.
Yeah, I think Robin took it as an opportunity to like tell viewers what they wanted to hear. Like viewers want to hear somebody tell Cody, think of the kids, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, it was an argument with no stakes because it's like reach out to your kids or what?
Right.
It's
Right.
going to have no effect on your relationship with him.
Right, right. And especially when they got towards the end of the argument, they had a point where Cody said something to the effect of, uh, I'm going to do it, but I just need more patience. I need more time because I want to focus on my relationship with you.
And you know what,
You know?
Cody? You don't always get more time.
Right, right.
Don't put off relationships with people because life is fleeting and Cody has learned that lesson. So, if this hasn't changed his view on his relationship with his kids, he is a lost cause. And we know it hasn't. His
Mhm.
relationship with his children is no better today in October of 2024 than it was whenever they filmed that scene.
Right.
And there has
Right.
been trauma that has happened in this family.
Right. Well, what do you think about like the whole issue of Cody and the responsibility he took? I wrote down some things that he said. He had said something to the effect, because I felt like the entire time he was having this discussion, he was doing a lot of diversionary tactics. So he would say things like, when he talked about himself in a relationship, he said, during the time that everything was good, I was safe for everybody else, but they weren't safe with each other. Like pointing to like the sister wives and the kids. He was cool with everybody else. When he was cool with everybody else, there was always this conflict amongst each other. And it really struck me that he always kind of triangulated a lot of his issues. So if he
Mhm.
had an issue with Christine, he didn't go and say, "Oh, me and Christine are having a fight." He would go to Janelle and say, "Yeah, Christine, this is what Christine had to say about you." Or he would go to Mary and say, "This is what Christine and Janelle are saying about you." He would always put somebody else in the way. So what
Mhm.
did you think about like his ability to take himself out of the eye of the storm, if you will, and put somebody else there in his place? Like he even went as far as to say, "Robin, I'm protecting you. Like that's why I don't get along with everybody, because it's your fault, basically."
And you can tell Robin was like, don't protect me. Like, I can have, what's interesting though, and this is why all of what Robin is saying in this conversation falls on deaf ears for me, because one kid out of Cody's 15 other kids, or I can't math, 13 other kids that aren't your kids, only one of them has a semi decent relationship with you. All of them think that you ruined their family.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Right,
And
right,
not all of them get along with each other. Gwen and Peyton can't stand each other. At least they couldn't for a long time. But they both agree Robin's a problem.
Funny how that worked. And it's also weird too. I think it's a little demeaning when like kind of what hand in hand what Cody did with Janelle, by saying that she's fooled by Christine. She doesn't have a mind of her own and she's being led around by her nose by Christine. And that's why she's acting the way she's acting. I
And
think
that's
it's
so
insulting.
condescending and
Right.
does he that just shows you how little he thinks of Janelle, and also probably how little he knows Janelle.
Right.
If he thinks that, because part of how I've always perceived Janelle is Janelle like doesn't care what the crowd's doing. Janelle's gonna do what Janelle wants to do.
Right. Right.
If Janelle was really following Christine around, she would be out there declaring divorce like Michael Scott declared bankruptcy. She would be like shouting it from the mountaintop. She'd be issuing statements. She'd be doing all those things, and she's not. She just doesn't care that much.
Right. Right. It's not bothering her. But in the same way that he puts that on Janelle, he's also putting that on his kids by saying that his kids are being strongly influenced by their mothers. So he's basically saying that the moms are puppeteering the children. That's why he's being seen as the villain, because he didn't do anything wrong. And they're the ones that are convincing his kids that he did something wrong. But he's ignoring the fact that his kids were present when he was dealing with their mothers. So they have their own opinions because they saw what they saw when they were in the houses with him. So I think that that's part of the bigger issue that he's having as well.
Yeah.
Um, he also said something to the effect of, he said, "Dad, you were never at my house," talking about the kids. He was saying that the kids had complained that he was never at their house. And he said, "I have another wife who complains about the same thing." And I'm sure he wasn't talking about Robin when he said that,
Mhm.
because he never pulls her into the thing. So I always thought that that was kind of interesting too, that he pulls other people into the argument. And it's funny to me because as the manly man that Cody is, his job is to provide and protect his loved ones. But at the same time, the people that he supposedly protected, he's protecting Robin. That's why he's arguing with his kids. But at the same time, he takes his kids and pulls them in front of him like a shield. You know what I mean? He pulls Robin in front of him like a shield to protect himself. Like, I'm protecting you. I'm protecting you. And she's catching all the fire. You know, incoming fire from everybody.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't want to be the reason why two people didn't have a relationship with each other. Like, if my husband came to me and said, like, I don't talk to my mom because I love you so much. Like, so I cut my mom out of my life. I'd be like, that's terrible.
Right.
You know?
Right. Like, I can handle you
so
going over there.
Even if I love my mother-in-law, but even if she and I didn't have a good relationship, I still wouldn't want my husband to not have a relationship with his own mother. So if I'm Robin and I'm like a normal person, I know Robin's not, but like, say for a minute that I'm Robin and Cody's telling me how he's cutting all of his children out of his life because they don't like me, I'm like, dude, then there something needs to give there, because that's kind of like a relationship ending situation in my mind. Like, you don't like my kids or my kids don't like you, this relationship really has an expiration date then.
Right. Well, I mean, hence, you know, it's funny that he says, like, I didn't go to the surgery or I didn't love the moms, but he doesn't see that the way you treat, the reason why he doesn't have a relationship with the mothers isn't because, ironically, and it's funny that he kept saying it, oh, because I don't love them. It's not because he didn't love them, because how he treated them was how he treated them. The reason why he doesn't have a relationship with Christine or the OG3 is because of the fact that he wasn't there for their kids. Like Mary, he didn't want her, and he pushed her out the door, and he embarrassed her, humiliated her, and drove her out. But with the other two, with Janelle and Christine, the primary reason he doesn't have a relationship with Christine and Janelle is because he tried to kick the boys out during the middle of the panorama. And then with Isabel, he not only did he not, and it's funny to me that he left it there. I didn't go to the wedding, or I didn't go to her surgery,
right.
But he left out the fact that he went to a wedding to officiate a wedding around the same time. And that's what I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, it wasn't just the fact that he didn't go to the surgery. It was the fact that he didn't go to the surgery and then he went somewhere else. I think that's why she packed her
And then
stuff.
he's wondering why Hunter meets him with contempt when Hunter is there by Isabel's side. Hunter is brothers with Gabe and Garrison, who I have no doubt are telling him how Cody's trying to kick them out of the house. Like, what do you expect?
Right. And this is the weird thing that a mother's love. Like, you're taking Hunter and you're mistreating his mom. And same thing with Maddie, same thing with the other kids. You're mistreating their mother. And so, yeah, they're going to have a feeling they're going to feel a certain kind of way about that. You know, because whether they have a relationship with you, they have relationships with their moms. And even to take that a step further, I've always said that if you're a parent who is involved and you're around and you have a relationship with your kids, there's nothing somebody could come into my kid's life and tell them about me, because I'm around them all the time. Like, they can call me all kinds of names. They can call me a low down, dirty, this, that, and the other, but I'm around my kids all the time. So whatever view they have of me is going to be their view of me because they have a relationship with me, you know?
100%. 100%. I said this in a video. Even if, and I fully believe that there was no shit talking ever happening by Janelle and Chris. Well, maybe shit talking. No, Janelle and Christine were not trying to negatively influence Cody's relationship with his kids. I will never believe that happened. Let's say, though, for the sake of argument, that it did. They would be unable to influence their adult children's relationships with their father if their adult children had a relationship with their father. But they didn't.
Right. They didn't push him that out.
Madison that the sky is purple. And she just go, oh yeah, well, my mom said it. Guess it's true. No, Madison's not gonna, not the Madison we know.
Right.
No.
And that's one of the things that I liked about Madison was that Madison was always one of the more forthright children. And she would say what was on her mind. So it doesn't really strike me that all of a sudden she's this weeping willow that just goes along with everything. In her adulthood, when she was courageous as a child, and it speaks a lot too when she says that Cody regales this story about how Madison sweeps the kids away, and how that hurt him, and then he accuses her of moving away. But you guys moved away from them first. like it's so
Someone else
delusional. It's
pointed
crazy.
that out. In my, I think, I don't know where I saw it, but someone was like, "What is Cody talking about? They moved away. He moved away.
Right.
He moved to Vegas."
Right. They moved to Vegas to be around him. They moved, and Cody and the family moved from Vegas to Arizona. So you guys moved away from them first. So it didn't matter where they moved after that. They bought a house next door to you, and you moved so they could be they bought a house next door so they could be neighbors with you. You moved to a different state. So yeah, they can move wherever they want at that point. And they moved to where what was best for them and their family. And I respect that. So there's that. But let me get through a couple more super chats.
All right.
We have H Crescenza. I think I said that right. $1.99 super chat. Robin is more toxic than a drink of a tea. Robin is more toxic than a drink at a P. Diddy party. Oh,
no lies detected.
Right?
No lies detected.
Do not drink at P. Diddy's house for those who are uninitiated or do not know. Give a little something. Back to my Hassan, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to go through a couple, then I'm going to give you guys a big celebration.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure I get everybody. Kit Kelly with the $9.99 super chat. What about Robin asking Cody to work on his relationship with his kids? And he's saying that he prefers to work on their relationship instead. My heart breaks for these kids. Oh, you mean them? Those?
Yeah. So Cody was basically saying that the only relationship he's interested in working on is the relationship with Robin. Right. So if it'll make Robin happy, he's willing to put some effort into some of the relationships with the kids.
Right. Yeah. You might deserve it after I salvage my relationship with Robin, the important one. I'm gonna give you guys a little celebration. Then we'll just drop 3 more. Bria James, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. No message, just the love. Appreciate it. We also have Kendra Seymour, $1.99 super chat. No message, just the love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Then we have Katrina Morgan with the $10 super chat. I agree with this episode was damage control for Robin's dumpster fire of a public image. The fight was definitely staged, and Robin sleeping in the closet brings a whole new meaning to my sister wife's closet.
Robin is like, I am going to make my sister wife's closet happen.
Right.
If it's the last thing I do.
This is the first vestige. Welcome to the first commercial.
Yeah.
We rolled it out. And I see what you did there, so we're going to give you a little something. That is craziness. You know what? Because we have quite a few. Let me just get through at least 3 more, and we'll be good. Okay. Kendra Seymour, $4.99 super chat. Appreciate it. This week made me realize that Robin is a broken bird that's a sick pick me girl. Made me feel bad for her. Just wants to be cool so bad. And yeah. Because I think that's part of the reason why she's so anxiously or desperately missing the big family and the big family group, because she was in the cool crowd when she walks into the big party with all the people.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the favorite, the top, right? But if you're the top of, there's no one below you, then you're
Mm,
then who cares? Nobody cares. That's the thing is Cody facing the indifference of like his kids. That's like worse than the rejection.
right, right. The
It's
fact
like
that
they just don't give a shit anymore.
yeah, because I think that it was more interactive for him, more exciting for him with one of the kids saying, F you, dad, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. That probably hurt him way, way less than Madison just picking her kids up and walking away from them
Yep.
and not
100%.
dealing with them. So yeah, but thank you so much, Kendra. We'll get through a couple more and I'm gonna give you guys one big celebration. Lizzie B, $5 super chat. Yes,
Thank
but
you.
I'm in it more on the side of Cody doesn't want another alpha male around his beta male. People,
That is likely true. I think Cody always has to be like the top dog.
yeah, yeah, and it's hard too, especially when you have such a fragile ego and your kids are coming into their own. It's
Mhm.
hard because, like, as these young men become men, it's hard for you to compete if you have such a fragile ego and they're doing big things and they're achieving more than you could achieve. Like it's, if you're
Mhm.
not screwed in right, it'll hurt.
Yep.
Then we have Aunt Mitty 499 super chat. Maddie saw the show. She put someone on blast on her IG. Love that little badass.
I did not see that. That's great. I love Maddie.
Yeah, right. Man, she gets under Cody's skin and it's beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to go check out Maddie's little thing. Thank you for that. You guys let us know. Then we have what's this? Brittany not Brittany with 499 super chat. Meanwhile, McKelty is basically Christine's doppelganger. Like she was like when she's supposed to say, "No, mom, we're both ugly." Is that the loyalty Cody wanted?
Exactly.
Could you imagine? No, mom, we're both ugly. It's fine. Just we're like twins. It's hard to look at
Take
twins.
what you get, mom.
Right, right. You ought to be
Dad
thankful.
was the best you were ever gonna do.
Right, right. And he spent so much time with you. You ought to be thankful to him. You ought
Yeah.
to sing his praises for his sacrifices that he made to love you.
Yes.
Wasted.
Wasted.
He's sucker MC. Unknown the man, $5 super chat. Cody is only regretting not going to the surgery because it was Christine's final push. He is angry he lost her. She was the true at-home wife he wants. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to have that honeymoon effect when you tire your other wife out with your bull stuff. He could dump
Yeah.
everything on Christine and go over be fresh when he gets to Robin's house.
Yeah, and you totally know, like, he would have never just like gone out for a drive before. He would have gone to one of his other wives' houses. But
Right.
he doesn't have any more houses to go to. So he's literally just puttering around town.
Right, exactly. You know what's funny though? Here's something. It just occurred to me. Thank you for that $5 super chat
Yeah,
too.
thank
But
you.
it occurs to me that Mr. Polygamy is so hard. Monogamy is so easy. You guys don't know how difficult I have it trying to balance all these relationships. Now Cody's in the fire where he has a disagreement with a wife. He actually has to stand in the box and deal with the disagreement. He can't run off or putter off to another wife's house to avoid the disagreement or wait till the smoke clears after she solved her problems. He has to sit there as a monogamous husband and deal with it. Welcome to the cauldron, brother. It's hot in here. So you got it. But we'll do one more and then we'll jump back into it. But Steve Frog, 99, $5 super chat. Cody wants the big family as long as it's not made of real people with thoughts and expectations of reciprocity. And I think that that's a big one. I think that's what jump myself. Woo! The super chat combined it all. But yeah, I think that that's a big thing because I think that the weird part about listening to both Robin and even Cody talk about it is that they remind me of people who want to do these big things but don't want to do any of the work to accomplish those big things that they want. They want to have the relationships with the kids, they want to have the plural marriage, but they don't want to do any of the work that's involved with keeping, maintaining, attaining, keeping, and maintaining these relationships with these other
Right.
individuals. They just want to like pull them out of the closet when they go to a party. They be like, "All right, guys, we showing up," and then after the party's over, "All right, get out of there, beat it, beat it." You know what I mean? So, thank you so much for that. But actually, let me just because we only have 3 left. Let me just
Okay, sounds good.
Neglet 3. She was on last night. She made her debut on my show. She
Hello, hello.
dropped in $2 super chat. Robert said she wanted Robert said she wanted poly life and never lived it.
Exactly.
You can't, yeah.
Christine wasn't wrong when she said that Robin never lived polygamy. I love the nicknames. People call Cody like Kotex and stuff.
Right. Cry brows. That's another
Yeah.
good one. Cry brows. I
It
love that
makes
one.
me laugh.
Yeah, I had one. I put I have a video coming out. We call her Cruella Downhill. So,
That's good.
so we'll be rocking that this week. So make sure you look for it.
Yeah.
Stacy Stitches, $1.99 super chat. Notice the exterior shot of Janelle's old house. Yeah.
Yes, we've seen Janelle's old house. We saw Christine's old house. Also, McKelty pointed out last week that they showed us a shot of the outside of Christine's current house, and where we're at in the show, this is the house that she currently lives in with David. She hasn't even met David yet on the show. The B-roll, the continuity is what continuity? Who is she? They don't know on Puddle Monkey.
Right, they don't care. They
They don't care.
They're like, we're just gonna throw the arguments in there every now and then and sprinkle them in there, and then we'll have Janelle walking her dogs like she did back in COVID.
Yeah, and one of those dogs is dead.
Right. She brought it back just for the show. You know, the power of reality TV.
Yeah.
One more, and we have Schnick Floyd with a $2 super chat.
Thank you.
I just can't anymore with Cody and Robin. I think that's well said. Like
that pretty much, I think that sums up like viewers, the fandom's general sentiment is like, it's difficult. Watching Robin argue with Cody about that things she did to her own kids, it's like, I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, it's so weird too, because Robin and Cody are, you know what? Because I think that wait, let me give them a celebration.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. But one of the things that really sticks with me is that I think there is a division in this show, because you have like Janelle, even with Christine. I think that they're trying to genuinely have an experience and share their experiences on the show. Even Mary, I think Mary is part of that crew. They're genuinely trying to share their experiences, their life experiences on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Robin and Cody, it just feels like everything they do is performative so they can continue the show. They're doing this stuff for the show's sake. And it just rubs me the wrong way. I think that's why it's so hard to watch a lot of what they put out, because there's nothing genuine about it. Like even the argument, like I don't even think the argument was genuine.
No,
you know. But so we went through a lot of the argument, and I'm sure there's so much like this argument. To be honest with you, there's so many different levels on it. I know I'm going to be doing videos on it. I'm sure you're going to be doing videos on it. Like you'll be releasing videos on it. So we can talk about it in our respective videos. But overall, because we'll get ready to close the show out, what was your thoughts with regard to this episode? Like, what were your takeaways? Like when you walked away from the episode, did you feel like you were closer to Robin? Did you have a better understanding? Because like you said, we got some new information.
Yeah.
Did you feel about the same?
It was an interesting episode for me because I found myself like for the first time ever, like I was like, oh damn, like I agree with Robin.
Mhm.
And I had to literally remind myself, like, wait. Like, don't let them rewrite history here.
Right.
Because like 13 other kids can't be all wrong about her, you know? Like,
Mhm.
they didn't team up to conspire against her. But yeah, it was an interesting episode for me. I think that while that argument was definitely performed for us, I do think that that was probably a real conversation that they've had.
Right. Right. I think it's
Cody
the
to me seemed emotional there.
he's been working on it.
Yeah.
Cody's better at crying than Robin, because I also remember
Robin,
when
though, when she's like tiptoeing around everything, like, I'm kind of sort of losing a little bit respect, kind of, for you.
right.
Like, girl, spit it out.
Right, and that's what I mean when people are my experience. If a woman is pissed at you, she gonna say it. There ain't no kind of sort of baby, perhaps. Like she
And
gonna
you
say what
know
she gonna
what?
say.
Like, if my husband had a whole ass set of kids that he abandoned, I would have lost a lot of respect for him too.
Right, right,
Like, say it with your whole chest, Robin.
right, right. It would be. I feel like I maybe perhaps lose. It'd be like I'm
Listen,
losing a
if
lot of respect for
that
your
doesn't
ass.
make you lose respect for someone, watching them neglect their children, then I don't know what that says about you.
Right, right, right. And the fact that like the weird part about it is Robin is always trying to hold out that she was fooled and she was tricked. I was led to believe when you guys were in Lehigh that everything was perfect. And I even made a note yesterday that when she said that, like, yeah, he was around and he was present for his kids because guess what, Robin? During that time when he first started dating you, he was living with his kids. Then when you came into the family, and you moved around the corner, he started spending time. Well, before you moved around the corner, he would drive 5 hours and spend the weekends when they're all from school to come and spend time with you. That's your first clue. Then when you moved around the corner, he started hanging out at your house, even though he had to get to know you and get to know your kids because it was important for the bonding. He took away from time away from his kids and his wife and his wives to give you equal time even before you were married. Then when you then after you guys went to Vegas, that split the family up. You were able to come together briefly at the cul-de-sac, and then he split the family apart again. And he never came back to the family. So you've been around when he was doing all the things you're saying you're so appalled and so offended of him doing. And that's where I struggle with her storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about like and this will be my last point, but what do you think about the idea? Because I remember, I'll preface it with this point. I remember during the last tell-all where Robin had insisted that she needed to have the wives' permission to love Cody. Remember that? I
Yeah.
need you to give me permission so that I can be happy.
Yeah.
What I feel like now, watching this particular episode, is that she's asking permission from the audience to be cool with the fact that the two of them are in love. That's part of the reason why Cody kept saying, I never loved them, and they're just mad that I found the one I really do love. Talking about their relationship, the love in their relationship. And then after all this conversation about him trying to mend the relationship with his kids, is bump them kids. I need to focus on this relationship because this is the most important relationship that I have. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it kind of comes back to the idea of their story as a love affair, as opposed to him being a parent with other kids.
Right.
To that one family. But what did you think about that?
No, and it's, I guess on the one hand, I personally like don't really, I do find validity to people who say that you have to like put your relationship with your spouse above your kid. I don't think it should ever have to come to that, but like
Mm,
I hear people's arguments in that like your kids are gonna eventually leave the home, like you need to like nurture that relationship with your spouse. I personally, nobody comes before my kids, just like nobody. So, but I get it, you know. So on the one hand, I understand Cody wanting to like nurture a relationship with his wife, but at the same time, like that was never supposed to be the point of any of this.
Right. And
The
and
point
even
was never to be in love or to be happy or to whatever. You were supposed to like multiply. That was literally it.
grow your family, grow your organization.
Yeah.
But like, because I would even say this with regard to like the kids or the wife or the kids or your spouse. I think that it doesn't have to be a choice. It's a false choice because you can grow both relationships. There's no reason why you can't have a fantastic relationship with your spouse and a fantastic relationship with your kids. You don't have to choose your kids over your spouse. And if your spouse is asking you to choose them over your kids, then that's a problem in and of itself. Like the question actually gives you the answer. Like
Yeah.
no spouse should ask you to do that. So I don't think that he should have to struggle to try. Like your relationship with Robin is your relationship with Robin. It's been steady for all these years. Through all the turmoil and problem that you had, your relationship has been steady. The only time your relationship is really encountering any difficulty is because the other relationships left. And that to me is indicative of the fact that there was a problem in your original relationship with Robin. And it has nothing to do with, because if your relationship with Robin requires for you to have 3 lackeys hanging around who you apparently don't care about, then that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna close out. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the
No,
this episode? Okay, I want to close out. I'm gonna give one more. We got one more super chat, so I'll give the
I
last
think
super
we
chat.
got a couple.
Yeah. I thought it was one more, but I rolled down. All right, so we go.
Everyone's been so kind tonight.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys, thanks for supporting the channels. We appreciate you. It goes a long way. You won't believe, helps us get new equipment and stuff. Keeps us
Mhm.
funky fly so we can stay on point with all the stuff we're watching. And especially with all these damn TLC, you bastards. Because you sit up there and you put the show on all kinds of places that we don't have access to. So now all of a sudden I got all kinds of subscriptions.
Oh my
Where,
gosh.
you
Yeah,
know,
it's
where before I was
ridiculous.
rocking one, now I got like 3 or 4. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, but I appreciate you guys because you guys are making it easier for us, taking
Yeah.
some of the burden off. Appreciate you. But we have Charlie Patton, $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. So after helping take care of twins, Robin wants Cody to mend relationships so she can hang out with the family. It's 2 years later. Good point. Yeah, full stop period. 2 years later, how hard did you fight and what have you accomplished? I'll wait.
Exactly. It's like she's saying all the right things now, but actions speak louder than words. So,
Right. And that's the thing, like, because and you mentioned earlier about time. Like time is fleeting. You don't know who's going to be where, when, and all that. And
yeah.
that's even speaking about Big G's. But I
Mhm.
think that it also, when you commit an offense or you do something offensive, how long it takes you to acknowledge what you did and to apologize for said offense makes a big damn difference. You know what I mean? Like if you do something to me today and then you apologize to me within an hour or the next day, that means significantly more than to me than if you wait 2 years and be like, remember when I did that? Yeah, I'm sorry. Not
Mm.
I see that everything fell apart
Yeah.
and I'm reaping the whirlwind. I apologize. Like,
Yeah.
how sorry are you really? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I think that's an excellent point. Then we have 2 more. Let me gotta find my mouse. My maces. Uh Shira Newhouse with the $5 super chat. Cody only saying prayers for him and Robin. What? Yeah. That's a hurt piece too. Like, cause even then, like every time he says something that's supposed to be like caring and gentle and like, bridge building, it's always so insulting.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna say a prayer for that I can mend these relationships that are important to me, which is pretty much some total Robin.
Right.
Screw them kids. Like, what are you
Because
talking
if
about?
your relationships with your kids were important to you, you would be working on them.
Right. And at least saying a prayer. Lord, please let these kids open their hearts to me.
Right.
Find a way that we can all get back together as a family. He's like, nah, screw these kids. I want Robin. His nose is wide open for Robin. It's crazy. You know what I mean? We used to call that back in the day, we'd call them whipped. Homeboys, whipped. Last we have Shanique Floyd, $5 super chat. I felt for Mary, and I think Robin is just a Delulu. just as Delulu. The conversation just had me. Yeah, she's steamed.
I mean, I think Robin is going to eventually find herself in the same situation as the OG3. Relationship with Cody is not a long-term tenable thing. Like it's not possible. So yeah.
Right. Well, because it's interesting you say that, because the one thing I would say is that in a weird way, Cody kind of reminds me, and this is a little bit of a stretch, but it's just an analogy I'm drawing. Cody reminds me of a shallow relationship. Like if you get into like a relationship with somebody and it's strictly a physical relationship, and that's what draws you, like you're attracted to them and you like the physicality of your relationship, but you don't really have nothing in common. There's nothing real for you really to talk about, except for when the next time you're going to get physical. Like it's so shallow that you don't have anything beyond where you are. And I think that Cody is kind of running to the end of his relationship with Robin, because their relationship is built on something that's so shallow and so transparent, that he doesn't have anything else to reach for. So this is like after the coital experience, you don't have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, now that it's over. Okay, well,
exactly.
I want to leave the room now, and you can get dressed and go, I guess. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, because now that the OG3 are gone, they don't have nothing to talk about.
Exactly. Because eventually, like when your relationship is built on talking shit about all these other women, and now these other women aren't around. So eventually you're not going to have anything to talk about.
Right. And the ironic part is that I'm sure when the conversations were happening, it was always about how they're the problem and how his life would be so much better if they just weren't around. Now your problem technically has been solved because these women aren't around anymore. But it's a problem because you need those women around so you can complain about those women being around so that you can maintain your relationship with your current girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
So, but let me give these ladies a little something. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, but so what do you have coming up this week?
Well, this week is going to be a little bit touch and go for me because we have a hurricane coming. So I really don't know. I will likely not have power come Wednesday at some point. So I am planning on having a video out tomorrow. That's my goal.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm just trying not to swim away.
Right. So make sure you guys check out Sarah's video when she drops tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll hope and we'll pray that you don't have to get your feet wet.
I know. If you guys see me in like a canoe, be like, where did that lady get a canoe?
Like I canoe napped somebody.
I just robbed someone for their canoe.
Right. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Actually, my neighbor has jet skis, so I might be like, vroom vroom.
Yeah, right. You'll see Sarah on the 6 o'clock news ripping up waves.
Crazy lady, and she is just whipping around Orlando.
Right. Yeah, hey, release videos on it. You can start doing IRL content, real life content.
Hey guys, follow me. Reporting live from the hurricane.
Yeah, right. Here I'm my beachfront property.
Yeah, it wasn't before. We were Central Florida, and now we are coastal. Oh my God, that would be so sad.
Yeah, that would suck ass. Like I don't want to joke around about it too much because I don't want nobody to be like, you talked it up.
I know. But this is how I deal with anxiety. So this has been a very good escape
There
from
you go.
like literally right. But I was worried because like I have my phone plugged in because I'm just so worried about like obviously losing power. But like an emergency alert just went off on our phones like right before this live. So I'm like, oh God, like if my phone is going off, like, well,
Right.
like,
Like, run, were you still doing that? Yeah. But yeah, I got the same thing. So, well, I don't have a storm coming. So I'll be releasing hopefully videos all week. So
awesome. If
yeah.
I'm swimming, check out James, you guys.
All right, there you go. There you go. I'll be giving daily updates.
James
Like
will
Sarah
take over from
right, right. While Sarah's doing Pirates of the Caribbean.
yes, yo.
We're gonna hold it down. But yeah,
Yeah.
make sure you guys check out the videos that we have coming up. And if you're not yet subscribed, well, before anything else, make sure you hit that like button so that way, we know that you like what we're doing and it's awesome. But it also helps because if you're subscribed to the channel, if you're not yet subscribed, ring the bell for notification. But what I found out is that if you are, even if you're subscribed, if you hit the like buttons on the videos that we release, including the lives, then when we drop new content, you'll get it first. So make sure you go back and check the subscriptions because sometimes YouTube is a funny, fickle place. They will take away your subscriptions.
I know.
They'll unsubscribe you. But yeah, so make sure you like the videos. Come check us out. Stay up with us. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the mods. Before we go, I want to make sure we give a huge shout out to the mods, the people who are taking care of us. While we're on the screen, they're taking care of us behind the scenes, holding us down, keeping the chats positive. So we have B Cat in the house. We have Lizzie B here for show. We also have, I thought I saw somebody else,
I
but
think I saw Kendra.
okay. So we give a shout out to Kendra too. There she is. Oh no, I missed her. That's the wrong one. Sorry. But yeah, so if Kendra's here, Kendra for show.
Thank you, everyone.
Right? Yeah, we'll cue the fun. And make sure I give you guys one more thing before we go. This is for the chat. This is for the awesome folks and who do the mod work. And this is for you guys who watch, even the folks who watch us the next day. Thank you guys so much too, because you're special to us as well. Get astronaut because you guys are out of this world. Cheesy. Thank you guys so much. You have a great night. Make sure you stay up with the channels. Check out the new content. We shall see you next week. Have a good one. And we are out.